I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig. Peppa Pig.
Everyone knows Peppa Pig as the simple children's cartoon filled with bright colors and cheerful moments. But what if that image wasn't the full story? What if behind that innocent presentation there was a much darker narrative that few people ever questioned? What you're about to hear is not presented as fantasy within this context, but as a reconstructed story that has circulated online for years about the origin of Peppa Pig. And today, you're going to hear that story in complete detail. And let me warn you that after this, it may be difficult to see Peppa Pig in the same way again. According to the account, Peppa was originally portrayed as a 12-year-old freckled girl. She had a very serious, observant expression in her face and an intense curiosity about the world around her. Many noted that she closely resembled her father, John Smith, both in appearance and demeanor. Here's where the character of John Smith comes in. John Smith was a very strict and emotionally distant man. He was shaped by years of physical labor and rural life, someone who valued work over words, the very old-school type. Very little is also known about Peppa's mother. She did not live with them and had left long before the events described here happened. John Smith owned a little farm that served as both his home and livelihood. It was not large, but it provided enough income to sustain them. In addition to raising animals, he operated a meat processing facility on the same property that he lived in. For John Smith, these animals were resources, of course, and not companions at all. Whenever Peppa would approach these little piglets with affection, her father would have to stop her firmly and remind her that these are not to get attached with. These animals are raised for business, he would say, and not to be played with. Despite these warnings, Peppa, being the little kid that she was, of course, started forming a strong emotional bond with some of the piglets. Being around them brought her comfort, especially after missing her mom, and it also brought her relief from an otherwise rigid and isolated life in the farm life. This is the moment when Peppa became really attached to a group of 5 piglets that always stayed together, and among them was one noticeably smaller than the rest. That small piglet behaved very different from the rest. Instead of typical sounds, it produced a deep, low noise that Peppa described as resembling a roar. Fascinated by this, she gave it a nickname related to that sound and felt especially connected to it. Peppa often brought the piglets small bits of food and spent time sitting nearby. During these moments, she would draw them. Drawing was her main form of expression. Using these crayons from home and school, she created simple, rounded figures with bright colors. These drawings were her way of preserving a world where the piglets were friends and not just products. Her closest friend and neighbor, Mark, was the only person aware of how important these drawings were to her. He frequently visited her at her farm, spending a lot of time talking to her in the farm and in the barn, where she would draw for hours. And one day, Peppa decided to show Mark that hidden corner. There was a large drawing covering most of the wall, and it stood out from the rest, and it seemed more detailed and deliberate. As Mark listened, Peppa explained each figure in detail. She described a mother pig, a father pig wearing glasses, a smaller pig holding a dinosaur toy because it liked to make roaring sounds, and finally herself, Peppa, drawn as part of the group. She explained that this drawing represented her family with elements of the piglets that she loved the most. Mark was completely impressed and told her that the drawings felt so alive that he could feel like they would move at any moment. Encouraged by this, Peppa ran to show the drawings to her father, hoping that he would understand and get the same reaction that Mark got. But instead, his reaction was cold and final. He told her to stop drawing these animals and informed her that these piglets that she was really attached to would be removed from the farm the following day as part of the scheduled farm operations, meaning that was going to be the last day she was going to see them alive. That night, Peppa was unable to sleep. She thought about the piglets all the time and the unique sounds that they they made, especially the small one that she felt really close to. She wondered if there was a place where these animals could exist without fear, without the danger of being sacrificed by the farm industry. And the next morning, Peppa was instructed to help in the processing area of the farm. Although she was uncomfortable with this, she had to comply with her father's demands. Inside the facility, Peppa became increasingly overwhelmed. At one point, she took out her crayons and drew another image of Peppa Pig on the floor. This drawing was different. The figure wore red clothing, the eyes were empty, and the expression was unsettling. Shortly after, Peppa carried what remained of the piglets towards a large industrial machine used for processing. And during this task, an incident occurred in which her arm became trapped in the machinery. Whether this was accidental or the result of distress has never been clearly determined. By the time others intervened, Peppa could not be saved, and operations at the farm were halted immediately. The following day, John Smith, the father of Peppa, was found deceased near his daughter's drawings, with reports indicating severe emotional collapse after his daughter's passing. Mark, on the other hand, was taken away by his family and did not return to the area ever after. Years later, as an adult, he is said to have shared Peppa's drawings with a group of animators, and these drawings were presented without context and later adapted into a simplified animated format. Those images of Peppa and the farm became the foundation for the characters now known worldwide as Peppa Pig and her family. The cartoon went on to achieve massive success, completely detached from the circumstances in which the original drawings were created. And that is the story often cited as the dark origin behind a character most people only associate with childhood entertainment. When we think about the story and then watch Peppa Pig on screen, it's impossible not to notice these connections. Even if they're subtle, the cheerful cartoon with Peppa, George, Mommy Pig, and Daddy Pig may feel lighthearted, but look closer and the characters, the family dynamic, and even the way Peppa loves her little brother and the animals around her echo the core of the story that we just explored. In the real story behind Peppa, the drawings were her way of making sense of the world. She created a family of piglets, gave the smallest one a special voice, and imagined love and connection where it didn't exist. In the show, we see something similar. The dynamic where Peppa cares a lot for George, for her friends, for the little adventures she and her family share. It also makes you wonder, how often do these things we take for granted, stories, cartoons, characters, have hidden layers that we don't actually see? How much of what we enjoy today comes from moments of struggle or personal expression that we never fully understand? Many of the cartoons that we see today came from dark backgrounds like this, and there are a few that we can talk about, but we will leave those way darker stories for another completely different video. And finally, I ask myself and I ask you, when we watch a cartoon, when we laugh at a simple children's story, are we sometimes missing the depth of the ideas, the emotions, and the experiences that inspired it? Do we truly understand and know the origin of many of these happy cartoons? And if you did know, would you see them in another completely different light? And that's the whole origin story of Peppa Pig. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button underneath the video, and if you actually like this one, there is a lot coming soon, so brace yourselves, guys. We will see each other in another theory video. Take care.